very few cards up his sleeve. He's going to have to figure out some way to break Kawaii's establishment into the center.
Yeah, and Beastyqt's up to three factories to produce those siege tanks, so unfortunately he can't really afford to use them all right now. He's only producing one at a time, and the tank count is getting closer and closer. We have only 9 to 11 now. We have the earlier upgrades here for Kawhi, so really he has the advantage in almost all aspects, and this is going to be the response from Beastyqt. He's loading up 4 dropships to move out here. I think my computer just crashed or something. It's back.
We are good. But here goes those 4 dropships around the top. And is this going to get spotted by Kawhi? He's already setting up in the middle some sensor towers. Yeah. Oh, and the scan. I think that was Kawhi's scan.
Was it? Oh, yeah, it was. Wow. I can't believe that.
That was clutch. And now we see the response here moving out just as we see some missile turrets going up and some sensor towers going up here on this north side.
Yeah, I mean, BC has to get sieged up here. This is going to be horrible. He scans forward and sees it, but he's not sieging. The siege, I think, is too late. There's too many Marines here, and Kawhi is going to be able to clean this up for sure. I mean, his tanks are coming up in the background. He's focusing down those tanks. He has 2 tanks sieged on the low ground. I guess a little bit too aggressive there. That's actually a pretty even trade, and now BC is going to take the supply lead.
Yeah, and he's actually pushing forward slightly in the center, but Kawhi is still established pretty well. And BC having to retreat, but looking to maybe take the 12 o'clock base as his next expansion.
Yeah, that's nice. I mean, he can definitely get away with that, especially if he's going to be putting out that aggression. He's actually going to load up these SCVs into the dropships, and that's quite nice. He's going to be able to drop them off there, get that mining going right away. At least that's, I'm assuming, what he's doing. He has the dropships over there with the SCVs, and
there he goes. So floating his main CC over, and then going to just unload the SCVs onto that base as well. And that's going to give him a nice income boost. In the meantime, Kawhi has established himself over at the 10 o'clock base. So both of these players are going to be on 4 bases. And I just love this sensor tower in the center for Kawhi. He's controlling both of those Zelnagas, which means his tanks have plenty of vision. And, ooh, look at this, though. Power move by Kawhi, using that Zelnaga vision to drop tanks on this base. And he doesn't even know it, but he's separating these 2 most recent expansions from Beastyqt.
Yeah, and I mean, a lot of SCVs actually charged in. I don't know if they're trying to bust or something, but he just lost a lot to those siege tanks, and those tanks are now shelling away at that orbital. He's actually going to be forced to lift, and that's so painful for Beastyqt. I mean, he's now down 13 workers. He lost control of that base. He's probably going to just move it down to the bottom right. There's a Marine, though, that's already in place and is going to see that.
And right now, KawaiiLighT does not have vision of that 12 o'clock, but if he does, he could easily take that out. We see how close that is to the siege tanks on the low ground from Kawhi. But right now, Kawhi is loading up a massive drop full of, what is that, 24 Marines?
Wow.
Oh,
yeah.
32 Marines probably, actually.
Yep, yeah, so he's going to be able to drop off here. There's a few Marines there for Beastyqt, but he doesn't spot this yet. Now he sees it, and he's like, uh-oh, I can't engage that. He's going to be able to stim in here, take all those Marines out, and possibly go down to meet that. But BC is getting a good siege location, so he shouldn't really be in much trouble, and Kawhi knows it, so he's just going to load back up and get out of there.
Just look at this concave that Kawhi has been able to maintain here. Tanks all along the center position, sensor towers as well, and just really increasing his tank count. Let's take a look at the units tab once again. 14 tanks to 20, but I think the 14 from Kawhi is enough to just hold this area, and we've seen Beastyqt just been unable to try to break these contains.
Well, it looks like he wants to do just that now. He unsieged, he got scanned though, so he's pulling back. I mean, it's such a scary position to be in, but he doesn't really have to break it. I mean, it's half map, half map. He has the top base. He knows that's an advantage that he has secured. And it's like it's one of these situations now where both players have too much. Neither of them can really be broken.
Right now, Beasty with 0-2 on his tanks. Kawhi with 0-1. Let's take a look at the infantry upgrades. 3-3 for Kawhi and 3-3 for Beasty. So relatively even on both of those accounts.
Ooh, look at this drop that's being loaded up here for Beasty. He just loads up 4 of those drop ships. He gets a couple siege tanks in there as well with a lot of Marines. He's trying to go out and take center control. He's actually going to kill off the segmented part of the army here at the top and try to take control of that top Zelnaga watchtower.
And it looks like he actually is going to succeed. A very, very nice victory here from Beasty, sacrificing a little bit of supply to do that. But in the meantime, it looks like Kawhi might be going for a flank with a lot of Marines going around that south side.
Yeah, and there's so much supply tied up in that massive drop at the top center of the map here for BC, so he doesn't have any of that at home to defend, but he should be able to get dropped off, and he sees that there's nothing in place, so he can siege up above on the high ground above this planetary and that pocket natural. You can also take out tons of units here by sieging up above that at the left side of the map, so I think he could get great positioning here, put one tank above this mineral line, one tank above the other mineral line. He could effectively deny 2 bases with the one move.
Kawhi losing a little bit of supply here. And we see that massive drop still not being microed. Here he goes. Looking to go for that most recent expansion right now. This one is a planetary, so will not be able to lift off, but headed towards that 10 o'clock base first. There is a siege tank in position. That is instantly going to go down. And how is Kawhi going to respond? Is he going to have to give up center control? Right now we do see a massive move back of Marines going towards that base, trying to get back in time to defend it. Right now, staying on top of the high ground is Beastyqt, just shelling it from there. And right now, the Marines headed to the low ground.
Oh, I can't believe he's going for the planetary with his Marines. He just lost a lot of Marines there for nothing. And now here comes the big stem.
Oh, timing it just perfectly right as soon as those tanks had attacked the planetary, and he manages to survive with a lot of those.
And look at the top center of the map. This drop is doing massive damage. He took out a ton of SCVs there. BC was able to ferry over some units to finally clean that up, but let's take a look at the damage. I mean, only 43 workers now are remaining here for BC, and he lost the orbital.
And right now, his resources about 2K in favor of Kawhi. So he's been trading a little bit more effectively than Empire Beastyqt, but BC currently with the supply lead. But how is he going to be able to break this contain
nice,
again?
Auto turret harass here on the left side of the map. He's going to deny mining there, possibly take out this geyser. He's not getting any kills, but still, it's annoying, and it's going to push these SCVs away at least for a little bit.
And we see sensor towers and missile turrets trying to be throwing up on that top left, but does scout out another drop here. So BC continuing to try to do this harassment as Kawhi trying to shore up that northern area where these drops keep occurring.
And I'm so surprised he's not just sieging up above the mineral line of this pocket expansion, because that's like free damage he could get done. Instead of going for the actual planetary itself, just siege up and kill all the SCVs on that.
He just scouted it, that refinery just showing up on his mini-map finally. And maybe he just didn't realize it, but now one of these siege tanks does have range on that refinery, as Kawhi knows that he has to go defend these 2 expansions.
Yeah, he definitely does, and those Marines are walking through siege tank fire. There's so many of them, he should just be able to overwhelm this no problem, but still, if he's taking a lot of damage, it's not going to be very cost efficient.
And look at this, though. I was wondering why Kawhi was not resupplying, even though he has the money, and we see double fusion core coming up. Where is that going to be, actually? We see a lot of starports here with Tech Lab. So is he going to go into another battlecruiser transition? There we go. There are these 2 fusion cores. But in the meantime, we see some power moves here in the center. BC really solidifying his control of that top Zelnaga tower. And looks like he's going to be able to push into this inner pocket third on that top left base.
Yeah, he is, but I mean, at the same time, he did lose a lot doing that. He should be able to take out this base, which is great. And he has this one Marine here at the top left, so he knows that that base hasn't been taken for his opponent. Kawhi is trying to make some moves here down below, but there's still a ton of tanks in position with the Marine support, so he's not going to be able to do that. And BC's just going to continue pushing forward, and I feel like he could just load up and take out this left side base too.
So right now, BC with the supply lead, he's got a couple extra command centers floating around. We see that he's got 1, 2, 3 mining bases currently, whereas Kawhi only has 1.5 or so. But we do have 3 battle cruisers coming out for Kawhi, as well as a lot of reinforcements in his main.
But look at this big battle in the middle. A lot of tanks going down from either side. Kawhi was thinking about stimming in there, but thought better of it as his Marines took a couple of hits from those siege tanks.
No, I'm not sure, but BC still has a pretty decent Marine count. I'm not sure if this battlecruiser switch was what Kawhi needed. He's been unable to hold those most recent expansions, as he did just go down. And BC has had that 12 o'clock mining for quite some time. So as we take a look at the units tab, 71 Marines out for Beastyqt. He's actually 30 Marines ahead of Kawhi. So I'm not sure how much damage these battlecruisers are going to be, but right now, Beastyqt losing a couple tanks, getting in range of Kawhi's. And here comes a massive bust through the center. Is that going to be the right answer, though, as the battlecruisers finally joining the fight here, and the Marines unable to push forward as the tanks from Kawhi are still standing strong.
Yeah, and I feel that once again, this battlecruiser transition may be able to clinch the game here for Kawhi, but at the same time, BC has done a much better job than Kawhi of denying these expansions. I mean, look at the amount of bases that BC has, look at the amount of bases that Kawhi has. His economy has been much more consistent, it's much better. He has, the bottom base, he has the bottom right base, he has the top middle base. He's going to be able to secure yet another with this pocket expansion, so he's doing such an amazing job. And I feel like he definitely is going to have a big advantage because although his opponent Beastyqt does have a good amount of Marines, if you upgrade battlecruisers, they take like no damage from Marines.
Ooh, Beastyqt breaking the rocks towards the 6 o'clock. Might actually go around from the other side and attack into the third of Kawhi, but right now both players just kind of trying to control those Zelnog watchtowers. Beastyqt does have the top one as well. Should spot this orbital trying to re-land at that base that Kawhi had taken earlier. And right now we did see the energy upgrade for the battlecruisers finishing up. Yamato cannon is now on the way as well. And both players sieging up here in the center once again. And right now supplies are dead even at 181 apiece.
Yeah, but I have to say the stronger unit composition goes to Kawhi for now. And I mean, he has 2 attack, 1 armor on his ship weapons. His opponent has 0-0 right now. And he's not siege. He's not siege. He's going to get caught by these Marines. He could lose a lot of siege tanks, but Kawhi does pull back. The battlecruisers will push forward here. They're going to be guarded by the siege tanks. And he's going to be able to take out even more tanks. And Beastyqt is constantly losing more and more ground in this game.
And what is Beastyqt's response going to be? I see a couple of starports in production. I'm not sure where they are exactly. Where are they checking for the... Okay, so they're at the bottom right-hand base. We see 3 more starports, and he's going to need to build that Viking count. Looking at the unit tab, where's that Viking count? Only 1 Viking for Beastyqt, whereas Kawhi has 6 plus the 4 battlecruisers at the moment.
Yeah, and another battlecruiser is about to pop out. Beastyqt's doing some nice harass here. He sent a group of Marines down to the bottom pocket expansion, now trying to harass that top pocket expansion. He was able to pick off a sensor tower in the top left as well. So he's doing some good multitasking, trying to get something done here, trying to delay. But I feel like this composition from Kawhi is just too strong, man. He's pushing forward, going to take out that only Viking, and he has all these battlecruisers alive. He can just keep pushing the battlecruisers forward, using them to force the tanks to unsiege, using his tanks just guard those battlecruisers. He's actually going to decide to just shell away on this orbital. It's forced to lift up, and it may just burn down here as the Vikings come into play.
Oh, very, very nice control there by Kawhi. Just trying to get some extra hits off and then baiting the Marines back into siege tank fire. Right now, sensor tower up from Beastyqt. Knows where that army is moving, but the battlecruisers just too much, able to push those tanks back continuously. And Kawhi now back up in money. And as I mentioned, breaking the rocks from the 6 o'clock base, trying to do a little bit of pressure, but Kawhi is keen to it. But in the meantime, he's also attacking the 12 o'clock base from Beastyqt. So that's hidden expansion that was giving Beastyqt a nice little economic boost. Might actually fall here as the Marines trying to go for it. And this stim is going to put it on fire. And is it going to be able to kill it? Yes, it is. Command center does fall. And right now, Beastyqt decides it's his time.
Yeah, he's pushing forward. He knows he needs to get something done. He's so behind in the air battle. He just doesn't feel like he can stay fighting that. I mean, Kawhi has to be careful, though, because he hasn't really been building many Vikings. He only has a handful of Vikings now. And you do need Vikings to be able to guard against this. And Kawhi, what is he doing with those medevacs? He's just sending his medevacs forward into the... Oh, what is going on with that?
I have no idea. I think he actually might be sacrificing some supply here because his Marine count is relatively low. BC actually has more Marines right here, so I think he's just relying on his Vikings and battlecruisers and that tank count to hold back his opponent's Marines, and doesn't really feel the need.
He has to be careful with these battlecruisers, man. What is he doing? He sent his battlecruisers out alone. 1 battlecruiser falls, 2 battlecruisers are going to fall, a 3rd is going to fall as well. Oh my god, it actually lives with 11 HP, but that was a big misstep from KawaiiLighT. I mean, those battlecruisers have taken him the whole game to build up. It takes so long to build those, and he just almost threw away 3, and that's really dangerous, man.
Yeah, he's floating a lot of minerals right here, but not a lot of gas. He needs to be established to re-establish those geysers. He does have a base over here at the pocket there, but that is once again going to get scouted out by Beastyqt as he goes and take that top Zelnaga tower. This is such a back and forth battle right now. Beastyqt at 170 supply, but looks like he's going to be able to trade for an expansion here for Kawhi. That command center goes down immediately. Now loading up a couple drops here. Both players just trading Zelnaga control continuously as scans going down over and over and over again. Looking at the units tab once more. Beastyqt retaking the supply lead in terms of his Viking count, 11 to 4. Tank count essentially even 12 to 11. Marine count's just incredibly high for both players, but the tank counts should nullify any big moves from those Marines. I think the defining factor is still that these 4 battlecruisers are left alive for KawaiiLighT.
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like Kawhi should have really kept up on his Viking production, because if he had the Vikings still alive, he would just be dominating. But now, I mean, BC has produced a good amount of Vikings. The Yamatos may be able to take a couple of them out, but I mean, he's lost another battlecruiser in that exchange. He's lost a lot of Vikings, and BC is just going to continuously kite, and he's going to maybe even get another. Like, it's so devastating. He needs to repair these battlecruisers. They're so expensive, and I really feel like he needs to continue on that Viking production, because he has a massive air upgrade advantage. He needs to push it.
And we're looking at the most recent mining bases here. Beasty is mining from 2 expansions, essentially. Needs to redistribute some of that supply, or sorry, that saturation. But right now, Kawhi only mining off of this left-hand base right here.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely could take the bottom middle base. He needs to resecure that top left base, which is